I want to say, there's a time and place for everything. In our mundane affairs, we never ever question whether it's the right time and place for us to do what we have to do. When we take in consideration the movement of planets into different constellations, we can, I'm going to say, we can take an educated guess of how things are going to play out. This is not to say, ultimately, that we do not have a choice. Because in the midst of this phenomenon, we have been given a free will to decide what we're going to do. Things are going to be what they're going to be. But it is our choice that we make that determines the outcomes of certain events. Now, astrological forces has a great impact on our lower part of our being, which we call it Sibon Ange. And for those of you who's into ancient Egyptian mysteries, those of you who have followed Ra Nefer Amen in the past, you know that he talks of this thing called the Kaibit. This is where all the functions are determined by astrological forces. And this brings us to the compatibility as well of things, nature, stones, human beings. When we don't take this into consideration, we find ourselves getting into difficulty. Because some people that we come in contact with, we begin to argue with, we have disputes, and we don't know why. When we look at the jewelry, as I stated, every metal has an astrological influence. We know gold, that is the sun. We have silver, which is the moon. We have copper, which is Venus. And many more. When putting these things together in the process of consecration or doing the consecration, we have to take in consideration those compatibility factors. Not to necessarily say it's a book thing, but we have to take those things into consideration as well. Because we do not want to put the wrong stones with the wrong metals, because it will cause a problem. Compatibility. Astrology is a great science, but many people have fallen by the wayside because they feel as though they have no choice in the matter. Things are going to happen, but it's your preparation that determines the outcome. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. There's going to be events that come. Sometimes people say, why is it that, I can't break through right now? I'm doing all these rituals, I'm doing all this and that. It's not the time. See, the magie can influence things to a certain degree, but ultimately, there are certain things that's supposed to happen at certain points in life. It doesn't matter what you do, those influences will have a great impact, and that can be an obstacle or a stumbling block. Many people want to burn a road, a blockbuster, or, abre camino, to things to open the road, and sometimes it's not necessarily an energetic thing, it can be an astrological thing. When you're dealing with astrology and you are linking it with your spiritual practice, you have to be able to separate the two and understand how they can be put together for a successful outcome. Because you have the world, which is going to move as it's going to move, and then you have the magie, which is going to influence the world in a sense. So, when you study astrology, you have look at it as a science that gives you a kind of a eyeball at how things can potentially manifest. Some people would say when you have opposition, you're going to have a lot of difficulty arising, and you can see that in a manifestation. Let's just say you have an opposition with, let's just say, Scorpio, no, excuse me, you have an opposition with Mars and the moon, and let's just say you're pretty much in the constellation of the Cancer. So now you find people that are Cancers and Aries, they begin to fight, they begin to have problems. In the midst of this, understanding has to be in the focal point, because when you lack understanding, you're just going to follow the motion. You're going to be like a dead fish moving with a stream. You have to be conscious. Consciousness. So I say to people, astrology isn't a bad study, nor is it a fatalistic study. It is something that gives you like a window to see the potential of how things are going to play out. And in this, you have to prepare for what's to come. So, when pursuing, take this into consideration, even in your dating. Because even if you do magie to pull a lover into your life, if they're not compatible with your energy, depending on your chart, even though you bring the person to you, there may be conflict. But I will say this, when you identify with the highest part of your spirit, those things no longer matter. But that's another video. That said, I conclude this video. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share.